I'm Dr. Kathleen Walls.
And I'm Dr. Yolanda Spies from South Africa.
And where are we now?
We are in Ghana.
At Webster University.
At Webster University.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been watching
Dr. Walls and Friends on UCCN.
My purpose is, and my passion's name. Can I get through this? Can I find my way? Though the road is long and the mountain high, I will journey on, live my greatest life, yeah. Dr. Walls and Friends, Dr. Walls and Friends, Dr. Walls and Friends, Dr. Walls and Friends.
Hey, welcome back to Dr. Walls and Friends. I am your host, Dr. Kathleen Walls, and we are here with special guest to the show, local real estate investor Steve Smith. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Dr. Walls.
Oh my goodness. Now I have to tell y'all, I've actually known Steve for a very long time, and our history even goes back even farther than what we remember because we went to grade school together.
Without realizing at the time.
Exactly. And you know, as I was thinking about
We rode the same yellow bus.
Wait,
too.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
And we
sorry.
even rode the same bus.
Right.
I know, it's amazing. And I didn't believe it. And then when I looked in the old yearbooks, it was like, yeah, there he is, there I am. So,
But you were little at the time.
Yeah,
so
I was one of the little
you didn't
kids.
matter at the time.
You know, the big kids didn't pay us little kids any mind.
Oh, exactly.
So, but you know, now the big kid on my show. What we got to say about
Slight
that?
dig there.
Right. But he is a great guy. When we did reconnect and met, put together all of the links in which we were connected, formed a wonderful friendship over the last decade, really.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You were my Superman that would come and shovel me out with parking and things like that. And
Little backstory. She lives on my parents' block, and I basically would wind up shoveling the whole block. So
it was just mine and his parents. I don't care about the other people. It was just mine. In my mind, that's what it was.
You're special.
No,
You are
thank you.
special.
No, but this is what I'm saying. A nice guy. He would take care of people shoveling steps, cars, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the midst of one of those shoveling, we got to know each other
Right.
and started to find out more about you. And so I want you to share with the people kind of your backstory. Yes, you're a local real estate investor, but how did you even get there? What was the journey that led you to this?
Well, I came from a very far place from real estate, I would say. I'm what I consider a corporate America refugee.
Okay.
So did the corporate thing for many years.
Mm-hmm.
I was working as an actuary at an insurance company. They're like the financial numbers people.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. Sat to my desk going like this for hours and hours, and I realized I don't like doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what led me to real estate is that, well, for one, I'm kind of the person who sort of likes those flip this house kind of TV shows with all the fancy remodels and everything.
Yes. Like the Vanilla Ice one?
Not that one.
Not that one.
The other ones. So I was into that. So that's what I aspired to do. But when I got into it, I realized, hey, then I decided I wanted to become like Mr. Landlord and own half the city and be renting it out and all that other stuff. And once I got into it in earnest, I've never looked back.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So it's interesting. So just even in that brief description, you mentioned so many different ways that people can be involved in real estate.
True.
So why don't you talk to the people about some of those different ways? Because you hear people now recognizing that this is an income stream, and you mentioned 3 different ways right there, at least that I heard. So let's slow it down for people and let's talk about real estate. First, why should people even get involved with real estate?
Well, just to take it one step back, you did touch upon something. There are so many different ways to get in, so many different things you can do still within the parameter of real estate. Only because I meet so many different professionals that I would not meet if I wasn't in real estate. Even people who will get this. There are companies that do nothing but will hold a real estate investor's money between transactions.
Really?
And they get paid a fee for that. I wouldn't have known that except that I'm in real estate and I actually meet people and they give me the business card. That's what they do.
Interesting.
So there's all kinds of little tiny niches. So I would encourage anyone to whatever interests you in real estate, go there. And then once you get in there, things will start to illuminate. You'll start to realize there's so many other things you can do.
Now, did you like start taking classes? Did you go, okay, I'm interested in this, let me take a class here or there at like a community college or a workshop or?
I did. I definitely have continued to further my education from the start on through to now, but it's not the traditional kind of classes that that people would think of, like community college or something. You know, probably the best thing I would recommend anyone would do is go to their local real estate investor meetings. Every major city has they call them REIs, Real Estate Investor Associations. And there always are all kinds of different speakers who will come and introduce you to a different topic. And I've learned a lot that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are books to read too, definitely, but just going to the meetings alone, pretty helpful.
Because, you know, I think about, like, I remember in high school, career day, and someone came and they were a realtor. And so that's where my mind was. And then I have some friends who are realtors, a very good friend. And I remember when she said she wanted to go and, you know, get involved with real estate and she thought about becoming a realtor. That was the only lane that I thought about when it came to real estate.
Well, I'm a little jealous because for career day, we had nobody interesting. Ever.
Really?
You had a realtor. I'm like, okay.
I had a realtor and a psychiatrist and a psychologist, which is what led me to choose psychology.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, career days are really powerful.
Yeah.
So schools who think about having career days or question it, keep doing. I was in 6th grade when I decided this is what I wanted to do. So you never know the impact of a career day.
True.
So now back to you. So with real estate, yes. So you have people watching those shows, right? Buy it and flip it, and they think this is a quick way to make money. I know some people who are interested in interior design, so that's also an avenue. But what are just even recommendations for people to get started? If they're saying, hey, what's this real estate thing? What do you recommend as a first step for them to do?
Well, the one thing I will caution people, and this is along the lines of what you're talking about, I meet a lot of people who do express interest in getting into real estate, and the common thing that I hear that I guess essentially slows people down is they're like, okay, well, I'm just waiting till I save, you know, all this money or something like that, and there's some high amount that they have in mind. The thing to realize is I generally don't use my own money in real estate, and it's not that hard to do because just by mere fact that it is real estate, there are a lot of different sources of funding that you can get. You don't have to use your own money for it.
You better talk. How? I know they'll be watching like, how do you do that? I want to know. Yes, exactly.
Well, I guess my preferred source of revenue for purchasing properties is really just borrowing money. I mean, and if you're like me, you know, most people I know don't have a whole bunch of money lying around, but I do know quite a few people who have worked at a lot of different jobs over the course of their career, and they always took part in a 401k plan. And then they'll go to another job and leave the money where it was. Well, that money can be invested in real estate in much the same way it's probably invested in stocks and bonds.
Yes.
You can move into real estate. It's exactly the same. There's no penalty.
Oh, wow.
It's not the typical loan that people think when, I need a loan, a hardship loan. It's not that kind of thing.
Interesting.
It's just a different form of investing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that now as I know some people are questioning what are they going to do in this state that we're dealing with the COVID-19.
Yeah.
Right? What do you invest in? What is society looking like? One thing about real estate is even if everything else disappears, people still need a place to live.
That's true, and that actually is one of the things that did kind of draw me to real estate. I know so many people in so many different businesses, and they're great businesses, but when the economy goes down, they tend to suffer more than someone like me does. So I wanted something that's kind of solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you're saying, so for those who are listening, you don't have to stack a certain amount of money before you could actually start to invest. That is one way that it can be done.
Well, I do recommend having a little money, like, I don't know, because depending on which avenue a person takes, like if you want to, let's say, buy inexpensive properties that need rehab and you're going to do that, you can borrow the money for the rehab, but you might want to have some money to just help you advertise, things like that. So maybe a few $1,000s or something, you know, and you can actually borrow that too, to be honest with you.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you can buy a property,
You
right? Buy it and flip it.
You could.
You could also
And you got to be careful with that. You can buy it and flip it as is, or you can buy it, improve it, rehab it and flip it.
Oh, okay. So there's that. You could buy it and become a landlord.
You could.
All right. But then also with the landlord piece, and I know you taught me about this, is being a property manager.
True, and everything you say, I'm gonna keep doing this because everything you say is branching off.
Good.
You can buy and be a landlord, a traditional landlord, or you can buy properties with an idea of doing what we call rent to owns. And I've kind of
We were talking about this the other day.
Yes.
Yeah. So teach the audience about that.
Okay, it's actually a feel-good thing for me. With a rent to own, well, let me take a step back. Occasionally, I'll come upon properties that are in pretty decent condition. And the owner might be someone who, they've lived their whole life there and they're just looking to sell. So I'll buy the property from them. So what I like to do is make that property available to someone on a rent-to-own basis. Someone, because I've met a lot of people out there who would love to own a home right now, but they themselves aren't ready. And typically it's a credit situation. They have money. They've been diligent about saving money. They just don't have the credit.
Okay.
And at least for some of them, they also don't have, they really could benefit from having someone to kind of hold their hand, because out of the whole family in their generation, nobody owns a home or, that kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
So,
or a first home buyer, you're not sure what that looks like, right?
Right,
So
and nobody to help you.
Exactly.
Right. So I think of one couple who I met, I did rent to them on a rent-to-own basis. And it was a cute little couple. They're both 20-somethings. Got a little girl. She's about 4 now. And I really feel good about it because I can clearly see that they just needed some help, So I rented to them, kind of groomed them over the course of, I guess it wound up being like 2.5 years from the time that they started as tenants till they purchased a home.
Okay.
And I just worked with them because I had a mortgage person kind of lay out sort of a roadmap.
Yes.
Of, do this, do that, do this. So I just basically made sure they stayed on the roadmap because life happens and they get distracted and everything else. So I groomed them, they got ready, and darn if they didn't buy the house and they were happy. And
good.
At settlement, they brought champagne.
Hey, and you wonder what the tambourine is for.
Now I know.
So let's do this. Let's take a break. And I want you to come back in the next segment because Steve does something really incredible for people who are interested in buying and selling houses. So join us on the next segment to find out what he does. We'll be back in a moment on Dr. Walls and Friends.